Hello, everybody. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you can puppy-proof your home. So whether you're about to get a puppy or you're getting your third puppy, then these are some tips on how to best prepare for that. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're a dog lover. If you're listening to the audio version, please follow our podcast as well, as that really helps us, and then you'll also get to know when new episodes come out.
Welcome to The Woofy Show, the ultimate dog lover's digest. Meet your hosts, Brian and Magda, two dog lovers ready to help you be the best dog parent, unravel the mysteries of canine behavior, and keep you updated on the latest trends in the dog world. This podcast has something for everyone. Get ready for heartwarming stories, expert advice, and a lot of laughs.
We're going to do a little warm-up question. We kind of want to make a habit out of this because it's kind of a fun way to start the episode. So today's question is, if you were going to do something differently for puppy proofing at home, what would you do?
So from our experience, what I would do, and we will talk about this in more detail, but it has to do with the cables, having the cables not lying around. Unfortunately, Maple did get into one of our phone cables. We were lucky it wasn't plugged in, but it was just something that at the time I didn't really think about because we were supervising her, almost 98% of the time or something like that. So for me, it was just making sure like the cables aren't lying around, especially plugged in, but luckily it wasn't plugged in, so it was fine. Yeah. But she did destroy one of our phone cables.
I mean, luckily phone cables, like I assume it was a charger.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, phone charger cable. So that was for me. But yeah, you're right. Luckily, they're cheap and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, we have like so many because you have to replace your iPhone every 2 years nowadays. So like we have so many chargers, it didn't bother.
Yeah, but still, if it was plugged in, it could be dangerous. But yeah. So that's something for me personally. So that's something that I noticed it happened. Now, what about you? What is something you wish we did or wish you did or something you wanted to like look out for next time?
For next time, I would never wear earrings. I don't actually wear earrings to begin with anymore after that incident because I'm scarred for life.
So what happened? Let them know what happened. What you think happened. Sorry.
What I think happened. So, I was wearing just like standard hoop earrings and I lost one day and I never found it. So I'm still to this day convinced that Maple actually ate it and it's probably still in her stomach because for like week or maybe 2 weeks straight, I was literally scraping through her poop. Like with a stick.
You were.
Yeah, I was going outside and like looking for this earring and I never found it.
Oh, and you were asking me too. You were like, "Hey, did you see anything in her poo?" And because when you have a puppy, you always go out with them at the start. So
and when I realized that the earring was gone, I was actually sat on a sofa like I am right now. So I was looking through the whole sofa. I was turning everything inside out. And I never found it. So.
I mean, I think you just lost it personally. But I mean, to this day, I guess that you haven't found it. Maybe you're right. But I don't think it's in our system. But anyway, the point of that is just make sure, again, we'll get into that some more, but any small items they could potentially eat. So.
Yeah, earrings are one of them. So don't wear earrings. Or any nice things, to be honest, don't wear it. So yeah, that's one of the things that I would probably not ever do because that was definitely a lesson for me.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments something that you wish you did differently, especially when you hear some of the things we have to say, or something that next time you will do or not do, I guess, depending on what it is. So we would love to hear what your thoughts. So comments on YouTube or in the little Q&A box if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple or anything like that. So yeah.
Right. So now I guess let's begin with discussing our first point of what to do when thinking about puppy proofing your house. So before you can actually discuss that, you have to understand the puppy behavior. So puppies absolutely explore the world with their mouths. So that's how they learn things. So they will literally put everything into their mouth. Yeah. When you think about getting a puppy, it's kind of like you think of like a perfect Instagram reel, right? The puppy's gonna be nicely, calmly lying down on your knees and like sleeping most of the time, and it's just gonna be this magical moment. But in reality, it's all different.
Yeah.
They literally like walk in tornadoes.
Yes.
I was not prepared for that.
No.
Instagram didn't prepare me for the amount of terror that puppies can bring you.
Well, I don't have it on me, but we even, as we mentioned in another episode, we, listened to a audiobook. I read the physical book about what to expect.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name of the book. I'll put the link
I think
in the
it's like
description.
raising your puppy.
The Art of Raising a Dog or a Puppy. Anyway, I can't remember what it was called. It was very insightful, but still not enough. I guess, I assume maybe it's similar to having children. You can read or watch as much as you want, but
Yeah.
everything changes as soon as they
We
come.
read the whole audiobook. I mean, we didn't read it. We listened to it.
I read the whole physical book as well. So that's double that I got it. And it still
didn't prepare you.
I mean, it did a little bit, but it's just more of like there were little things little nuances that are specific probably to your home as well.
Well, it didn't prepare me, that's for sure, because I wasn't prepared to wake up at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., any time of the night to let the puppy out because they were whining in the crate. And, you follow all these YouTube training tips and stuff about what raising a puppy will be like and what to prepare for, but it's still like you can't really put that into reality until it happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So really quick, funny story about us is when she was, I don't know, we had her for a couple of days. We had a little area blocked off and she just wouldn't stop whining. She wouldn't sleep. And I was like sitting in this caged area, not caged, but like blocked off, like gated area, so tired, just like looking so sad next to her actual crate.
You were just exhausted. Like it was just exhausting.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see a picture of it. But it was like, that sums up the first week.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So it is all about their behavior. Is there anything else for just general public behavior they need to understand before we get into?
Well, it's not what it seems.
Yes.
That's for sure. What it seems on the internet. I was expecting to like cuddle up to this puppy all the time and be like, oh, this is so cute. But like she was such a wiggle worm and like just would not let me cuddle her.
Ball
but
of
then
energy.
again, ball of energy and just a little tornado. So you have to be prepared for that because they will literally have to be supervised a lot, and if they're not supervised, then they should be put somewhere that they can be safe.
Yes.
So that's what this podcast will be about.
Yes.
Safety.
Yes. In a sense, this is it's not school or anything, but this is, I guess, a little mini safety lesson.
Yeah.
Which is what we've learned and what other people have talked about to us as well. So
so we can begin by mentioning our first point of what you can do to puppy-proof your house, home, flat, apartment.
Yes, wherever it is that you're living. So the first one is securing hazardous items. So that's things like cleaning material, small objects, house plants, just anything that that's hazardous. So
we actually didn't do that. We didn't think about it.
Well, obviously, all our cleaning supplies are in cupboards, so it's fine. Luckily, our puppy is a lot smaller, depending on the dog you have too.
Yeah.
If you have a Great Dane as a puppy, I imagine they're a lot bigger puppies than ours. Or if you have a toy dog.
I think it's a skill for a puppy to open a cupboard.
Well, but that's the thing; they were in cupboards, so it's not like. Even
they're not
sitting on
lying
tables,
around. You have to put them away somewhere.
Even putting it on your kitchen table, because fair enough, when they're 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever, they can't reach it. But maybe when they hit 3 months, they can reach the table. So cleaning supplies is definitely a big one. Anything small like earrings, for example, don't leave flying around.
And pens.
Yes. Oh, yes. Pens.
Little pieces of paper.
Yeah. Just anything that's like a choking hazard. Obviously, no different than I assume a child and choking hazards.
Yeah.
And then houseplants. Now, it's interesting, and it obviously depends on where you live and what plants are available, but the amount of plants that are toxic.
Yeah.
We'll give some examples later on in this episode about more outdoor plants.
Well, the only one that I know, because we have that plant, is the snake plant, which is the long kind of that grows out like this, and it looks like a snake.
I don't know which one it is.
Of course, you don't even know we have plants.
That's true. But
I'm a big plant person, so whoever is just like me and has plants, like please put them up on something so they're not reachable, because they will sniff them because it's like outside.
Well, it's a smell. They smell.
Yeah.
Obviously the dirt too. So even if you have like bigger potted plants, again, depending on how big your dog is, they might start, putting their face in the dirt. Or,
and they will start nibbling it. Like the amount of times we had a puppy in a house and they started like nibbling on my monastera plant that is hanging over the sofa.
Oh,
and
yes,
I'm like,
that's right.
I have to remember to put it away whenever we have a puppy.
And it's better to know ahead of time, obviously, that to move these things or get rid of them instead of after the fact when they accidentally eat it or something like that. And now you're like, oh crap, was that? If it was my case, I'd be like, I don't even know what plant this is. It's even say, Magda, hey, what's this plant called?
I'm like,
So
I
that's
don't
something
know.
that's something major. And I mean, I guess similar to children. If you don't have children, obviously you wouldn't understand either, like we didn't. But just any sort of small item, hazardous things, again, like chemicals. And even if you like clean your bathroom, if you're cleaning your bathroom with bleach, close the door afterwards. I know it's nice for it to air out, but that's something major. While you're cleaning it,
like
I
feel like I always
sprays.
have to remind you, close the door or get her downstairs or something, because I don't want her sniffing bleach.
Yeah, especially as a puppy, because their immune systems are growing and all that. So that's just one of the first point I guess we'll go over is just kind of, I want to say common sense, but maybe not.
It's actually not really.
There's things you don't know.
Like you will not realize just how many things you have lying around in your house until you have this little puppy that is literally going into every single small space in your house and starts, sniffing it, interacting with it, biting it, and you're like, oh my God, like there's so many things. And
or
you're
little
just
like shelves that they can go under or on or things like that. Yeah, so it's
but
you might
little
think
by little, you will begin to like put things away constantly. Like the first 3 months maybe we were just constantly hiding things.
Yeah, and then trying to remember where it was.
Yeah.
So do we want to move on to the next point?
Sure. So I just want to say, as much as I'm fond of the puppy years, I'm so happy it's over, because it was such a hard work.
Although we're really excited to get another puppy. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. We'll see. But anyway, so the second thing that you can do is you can create a safe space for your puppy, or what we like to call a puppy zone. So what that can look like is whenever your puppy is not being supervised, you can put them in a crate, or you can have a certain room that's kind of their room, like a puppy room. Or you can section off an area in your house. Yep. So I think we actually had all three of these things.
Well, no, we had the crate, and then we made like a pen kind of thing.
Yeah, but then she also had her room that we put another crate in.
Yes, I forgot that.
When you're a dog owner, you have way too many crates than you need. So you have a house crate and you have the car crate.
Well, and as they're growing too, you get one that's a little bit bigger. Yeah, so we had the crate inside the playpen kind of thing. So then, not that we weren't home for the first few weeks, but it was more if we were cleaning or doing something.
Yeah, but we had to have a space to keep her somewhere. Yeah. And actually, even though we had the area sectioned off with the crate, I'm not sure if you remember this, but she used to push the crate, and we had to put the chairs.
The barrier, Yeah, like the gate. You can see those, I don't know what they're called, the little playpen.
The crated kind of playpen sort of gate
wired
thingies.
Gate thing. I can't remember. We'll throw a link on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, a link to what we're talking about.
Yeah. But she used to push that to get out because she was so clever.
Oh, we put the chair.
Yes,
we put the chair in front. I remember. So yeah, we put our kitchen chair, because she wasn't big enough to jump in on that, to stop her from getting to it. Oh yeah, I remember.
We did.
Yep. That was so funny. Oh no, we put the chair to block it so she couldn't push it past the wall to open it. Yeah, literally 10 weeks old, 9 weeks old.
Yeah, we were actually putting stuff on top of the chair as well because she somehow managed to push the chair over too.
And she's not a big dog, but you're right. So it's little things that like, although you might, because we didn't have it fully enclosed. So some people, if you have it a full circle or whatever sort of shape or square,
but
we
puppies will jump on it and they will try to push it because they have no fear. And now Maple is actually scared of the thing, and she will not go anywhere near it. She like respects the boundaries now, thankfully. She's like, okay, this is section off, that means I can't go there. But as a puppy, they're like, oh, I'm going to try to push this thing over, see what happens.
So even if you're home, all day, it's still good to give them that space too, because then it also shows that like, hey, I'm not around all the time. Although I'm like 10 feet away from you, sitting on the couch or something like that, it gives them that time to rest and relax, which unfortunately we didn't do as much as we should have.
We didn't do enough, for sure. I recognize that now. Yeah. It's hard to like learn that as it happens, but now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, I wish we were leaving her more by herself and, you know, creating her more and actually leaving the house because she had a little bit of anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And that was our own fault.
Yeah.
Everything's our fault.
Of course it is.
That's how it is as parents.
It's never your puppy's fault, okay, everyone? I'm looking directly at you. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is not the dog's fault, especially when they're a puppy. They don't know better, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah.
They don't know. You leave something lying around, they will bite into it, destroy it. It's your fault for leaving it there.
So yeah, that's kind of the next point where that point was just more about giving them a safe place, kind of blocking off a certain area.
And giving you like a peace of mind as well, that if they're in that space, nothing will happen to them.
Yes. Also recommended if you do have mostly carpet, if you have any sort of room that's not just for accidents, because they will definitely cause accidents. So recommendation, this isn't from our experience because most of our house is
like paneled.
Is
what are they called?
Whatever. I can't remember.
Like
not hardwood floor, that other cheap fake looking wood.
It's not real wood.
I can't remember what it's called. If I remember, I'm sure halfway through the episode I'll remember. If you know and I don't say it, let us know in the comments.
It's not like wooden floor. It's not like real wood.
I know. Like, the words missing me.
It's like panels.
Yeah. Anyway, that's I guess another suggestion is to have that because they will definitely have accidents.
Oh yeah, house. Like don't have this safe space where the carpet is because you will regret it. Oh yeah. You will learn that pretty quickly if you have a puppy.
Yeah. So. We'll move on to the next point, unless there's anything else we want to add on that one.
I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that one's, safe area for them. No different than a baby in its little walled up crib. Crib?
Crib? Is that what it's called?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
So we don't have kids. Okay. So the next point is electrical safety. So this is kind of the thing that I said that I wish kind of I did differently. So it's making sure cords, cables, especially plugged in, none of that is accessible to them.
Well, you used to be an electrician, so you should know all about the electrical
and so,
dangers.
I mean, obviously, especially when plugs are all towards the floor, as we mentioned, they explore with their mouth, they explore, with their nose, things like that. You don't want them biting plugs, especially while they're plugged in. So
what should one do in order to protect the puppy from electrocuting themselves?
Yeah, so one of the options is to block them off. So similar how you would block off a safe space for your dog. If there's certain areas, whether it's like where your TV is or something like that, have it blocked off. Have it blocked off maybe with like smaller little gates, throw a box or something, kind of like cut a hole in it for the cable to go through.
Actually, one of the things that I read recently is that Amazon sells these like rubber bands that you can put on
to
your
wrap
cords.
around the cable.
Yeah.
So if they do get to it, they're not going right
like
to the cable.
There's like a protective layer basically that you put around your cord if they absolutely have to be there and there's no way for you to block them off. You can buy these things to put around the cable so then when they bite into it, they will bite into that first.
Yes. And
so hopefully by the time you realize that they're biting onto it, you'll be able to, they won't electrocute themselves.
Yeah. And so that's one of the ideas or one of the ways to keep them away from cables is training. So if you do see them, say like, leave it or no or whatever kind of words you use.
I mean, leave it is probably the most important thing in puppy training.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, like if you have a puppy that's 8.5 weeks old, you've only had them for a couple of days, it takes a while for them.
So another way of stopping them from chewing on cables, if they do end up doing it, if they're not in this safe space and you just let them roaming around, is to watch them and redirect them. So it's part of the training as a puppy to basically just do anything fun to make them be like, oh, this is where the fun is. Like that cable that's lying over there, that's boring. Like I'm here and this is more fun than this cable. And also give them other chewing alternatives. So there's so many things you can give them, like, you know, different toys and chewing bones and things like that. That are way more exciting for a dog than a lying cable. Yeah,
and that's, I mean, really they shouldn't be going for the cables if you're watching them. If you completely ignore them for hours on end and you don't engage them, then yes, and they will. And again, that goes back to, that's your fault.
Yeah, like you were the one not supervising your toddler, basically. So,
and then one last way is to spray kind of taste deterrent. So, you know, there's probably some you can buy at pet stores. We'll talk about some ideas when we get to another point for deterrent. So we'll save that one. But yeah, just kind of spraying it with something like the outside of the cable so they don't like it for that one. So that sums up that one. I believe that sums up that kind of...
very dangerous. Make sure, like, you know, that you watch out for that.
Yeah, that one's probably more important than the safe space because, I mean, a safe space is just more for...
I mean, let's not talk about which one's more important than the other. They're all very important.
Well, toxic
so your dog doesn't die.
You should be doing all of these. So all of them. Don't skip any of these. So
Even though you're gonna learn as you go anyway. So you know you're gonna blame yourself. I'm a bad parent, but you know you're doing the best you can, and that's what matters.
As long as you learn.
Yeah, exactly. So another point of puppy poo in your house that you might not think about is that your puppy will bite your furniture and other household items. So you need to make sure that you protect all of your furniture if you can.
Which we did not do.
No.
No. We didn't even...
We didn't think about it.
No. Couches, chairs, everything.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of like...
But we supervised her like so much. So I guess that's the difference. We were home the whole time for months. Like, you know, we're home all the time. So,
but she was obviously teething. Yeah. So once they start teething, that's when they bite even more, everything. But we also had another hack, which I think we have to mention in this
I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I'm not even joking. What is this hack?
We had a house leash on our puppy.
Oh, yes.
For a very long time.
Yes.
And the house leash allowed us to pull her away from things that she was biting or eating or getting up to spaces that we didn't want her to be.
Yeah.
It was also a good method to finding her.
Yeah. So just really quickly, what a house leash is. I mean, you'll see it on a lot of YouTube channels when you watch videos about, you know, what to expect with your puppy. So it's just a random leash, but it has the loop cut off of it. So you would just have the leash attached to their collar or whatever, and it would have the, you know, the little handle part cut off just so you can't get it caught on anything.
Yeah.
So it's just there. So now, one, if they're like in another room around the corner, you can see the leash. If you need to catch them, if they grab something and start running, it's just more of you have a way. And it was, the smartest.
It
and
was honestly, like, I don't regret doing it. And, like, all of our videos and pictures and everything that we have from those puppy years, she has this, like, really crappy, just, like, really dirty house leash attached to her.
Yeah.
But it was honestly, I think it was a lifesaver.
Yeah. I guess that's an option to puppy-proof your home because you're more just... It's more for your puppy to stop them from getting, like, and if they get into things, now you have a way to catch them.
Even like, you know, because when we got her, it was summertime. So puppies, obviously, they don't know the recall. They will run away from you and things like that. So you need to, like, as much as having a collar is obviously a good idea to catch your dog, the leash just made it so much easier.
Yeah.
because it was just like, okay, I'm just going to step on it and then you can't go anywhere.
So what are some other like household items that like, you know, people should look out for?
So obviously couches.
Yeah,
you need
furniture,
to, so this actually with a couch is very interesting. So people sometimes buy a leather couch because leather couches are very easy to wipe down. They don't collect hair like a material
we don't have
couch.
a leather couch, so I don't
Well,
understand.
yeah, because I would never get a leather couch because I hate them. I think they, you know, make loads of noise. They're just cold and I don't like them. So one of the ways you can protect your couch is by putting a blanket on it, like we have right here.
Yeah.
Or you can buy a couch protecting material that's widely available now everywhere. Because, your couch will be destroyed most likely as the puppy grows up and starts, you know, going on it and jumping on it and off of it. And, you know, they will get muddy paws outside. So you also need to make sure that you wipe them down to protect your furniture because they don't have a brain. They will just go outside, come back in, jump straight on a couch, and then your couch is ruined. So
other than couches, because we've literally, this whole thing has been about couches, and I wanted to, so I said household items, and you went right back to couches.
Couch
so
is very important.
I guess. Some people don't let their dogs on the couch, though, so that's why.
And everyone has a couch as well.
But you want to know what else everyone has? Shoes.
Oh, yeah.
That's other household items.
That's true.
That's what I wanted to move on to.
Then we can move on to it. So shoes, don't leave your shoes lying around. That's like the best advice.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want your dog to chew shoes,
or
put
anything.
them away.
Or anything.
Hide them.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yep. They should be, or put them up on something, or put them in a closet. Just pretty much if it can be chewed, don't have it lying out because your dog will chew it until they learn not to. But don't know how long
but like the only way you can teach your dog not to chew on shoes is just not have them available for them to chew, because the more the dog does something, the more ingrained that behavior becomes.
Yeah.
So like if you remove the thing that's doing that to them, that's like teaching them to do it, like a shoe, if you remove that, you will teach them that it's not even possible.
Yes. And then even when it comes out, say, after 3 months or something like that, or when they're 3, they won't be at that stage, especially once they're past the teething stage. They're not at that stage where they...
Yeah, they will be like, it's just an object, but I don't have to interact with it because I never have, and now I'm past that stage of exploring. Yeah. So now I will just sniff it and then walk away from it. Especially if you teach your dog to leave it, like the leave command, which they should have ingrained in them after, 3-4 months or something.
Usually if you do puppy classes, at least from our experience, they teach you that. Yeah. So, I mean, but you can learn yourself.
Yeah. If you have that command like ingrained in them, then it's so much easier then to deter them from objects like shoes and other small household items. Yeah. And also like rewarding behavior that you want.
Yes. Oh yeah. Don't just be like, no, leave it, don't touch. Definitely if they're playing with you, you know, again, this goes back to just training.
Yeah. So like, I don't want you to play with this shoe, but here's a bone. Like you can have this, chew this instead. And we did that so many times.
Oh yeah. Or like stuffed animals or little ropes or tug toys or things like that. So
yeah, and like, you know, dogs are not stupid. They learn pretty quickly. Yes. If you say no, leave that is an object that's not touchable, but let's play here, right, with this thing.
But yeah, and there'll be things you'll leave lying around that you just won't think about at the time because it's just a new habit you have to get used to, and they might get at it, and just as long as you're watching them and supervising them, then take it away, and now you know. Don't leave that lying around next time.
Yeah. But there's things also like chairs, for instance, like chair legs.
Yeah, like a kitchen, like a dining room chair or whatever,
Dogs tend to bite that. Like ours are wooden, so especially, wood, stick, same thing.
Teething. It was all, when she was teething.
Yeah. So one of the actual, there's a hack online that what you can do if your dog is very adamant about eating your chair legs. I mean, you can just put the chair upside down, I guess, on your table, or like remove the chairs altogether and just bring them out when you're eating or whatever. But one of the things you can do, there's like a solution that you can make in a spray bottle from a white vinegar and apple cider vinegar. Yeah. Basically, dogs hate vinegar. Yeah. So when you spray when you spray that onto items that you don't want them biting, they won't touch it normally. Yeah, that's we're not saying this is a foolproof hack. I mean, we don't know. We haven't tested this on every dog. Well, we've tested it on our dog, but I'm just saying there might be certain exceptions. Yeah. But do you not remember when we had this dog that was digging a hole in our backyard? Oh, yes. You put rocks on top of it, and then they still kept digging at it. So I'm like, I'm going to just see if vinegar will help. Yeah. And they never touched it again. Oh, yeah, that happened. It was a couple of weeks ago or something like that. Yeah. So I just sprayed loads of vinegar, and that did the trick. Yeah. She never touched it again. Yeah. No, it snowed after, So yeah. That's a good thing. And like, obviously, if you don't want your dog touching something, you can always block it off too, right? You can put gates up. We use gates to this day. Oh, yeah. Where we want things blocked off. There's a gate in this room that we're recording in, actually. Yeah. Sometimes she's in, sometimes, but because, we always leave it closed because, again, cables everywhere. Yeah. So we've got baby gates and, like, other gates that we use usually when there's other dogs around and we don't want them jumping on furniture because they just love to play. And new dogs in your house as well, they don't understand the rules. So it's a good way to put those boundaries in place, like this space is allowed but this isn't. So that is I think all on this subject. Just pretty much don't leave things lying around. That's simple. Although it's not that simple, but put it away or put your dog away. Yeah, exactly. Before we get to the next point, I just want to remind everyone that we do have a giveaway going on. It doesn't matter when you're listening to this or watching this episode. We have a giveaway going every single month. So you can see what we're giving away and enter it by going to bit.ly/woofy. So that's bit.ly/WOOFI. There you can enter. So every month we have a different giveaway. We will announce the winner, obviously, after the month is over. So if you haven't entered already, check it out and then keep checking every month. So I mean, I just want to emphasize that, like, it will literally take 10 seconds to enter. So, and you can get free stuff. So do it. Yeah. Why not? And we're not going to send you spam emails. People are constantly worried, like, I'm going to put my email in. They're going to spam me things. Like, you're good. We're going to be fine. The next point we want to talk about is food safety. Now, we don't mean pet food safety or anything like that. We're talking about just food safety with human food or the food you eat. So what we think, now this is just our opinion. We are not obviously experts, as we've mentioned many times, but sharing human food with a brand new puppy is not a good idea. There's a couple reasons for this. One, you don't know if it's something that they shouldn't be eating. You don't know if it's bad for them. I mean, you can look it up, but you still don't know how your puppy's going to react. Especially as a brand new puppy, if you change their diet too suddenly or give them something, they might have diarrhea or stomach problems, things like that. So that's one big thing, which, isn't safe. Another one, it's not more about safe, but it's just kind of the best case scenario for you and your puppy, is they're going to get used to wanting human food. So they might not like their kibble or their raw food or whatever you're feeding your puppy. They might want something else instead, which is terrible because then you're going to feed them breakfast, you're going to feed them dinner, and they're going to be like, nope, I don't want it, because they're waiting for that nice juicy piece of chicken or steak or whatever you want to feed your dog. Also, another option or another reason is that it kind of gives them the bad habits of, being like needy by a table? Well, begging. That's the word. Sorry, begging by the table. So, it's really recommended for the first few weeks when you're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, no matter what, have them in their safe space that we spoke about earlier, just so then they're away from it, so they don't even realize food comes from there.
And then like the most important is you don't know if it's toxic to them. There's lots of foods dogs cannot eat and they're bad for them. Just a couple examples of just little things that you might think are fine. Like you can't give them grapes, are not good for them. Anything with seeds are bad because obviously they can choke on them. Onions, mushrooms, garlic, things that you generally cook with. And I mean, I understand it's hard. You have this cute little puppy looking at you begging and they're just like, oh my God, can I have that? But if you don't know if you can give it to them, one, look it up. But still, as a puppy, it just sets up so many bad habits, so many kind of potential dangerous situations where they're going to have an adverse reaction to it, and they won't be well, or they'll just kind of start to be annoying and not like their own food. So those are my ideas for food safety. Do you have any other ones you can think of?
Well, I'm sure you don't know about this because you don't cook, but...
That's true, yes. Fair enough.
But a lot of meals are actually made with oils, right? And oil is generally like olive oil, and oils that you cook with is not good for dogs.
Oh,
because
I think you told me that.
Yeah, it's fattening, and it's not the type of oils that your dog should be having.
Yes.
And also things like spices,
yes.
salts, pepper, and all the other things that people put into food to make them taste better. That's also not good for your dog.
So I guess there's people that have like French fries or something like that, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll give my dog a few."
Well,
but yeah,
they
they're
just
full
have
of salt.
a lot of salt.
Yeah,
like
and
it's not
oil
good.
And fat and grease.
That
at the
doesn't
mouth.
mean well. Some people are lenient, right?
Yes.
And they're like, oh, okay, on a special occasion, I'll give my dog this or that, which is like fair and okay, but like I probably wouldn't make it a habit, and I probably wouldn't give it to a puppy.
No. So there is some stats that if you are going to give your dog or puppy human food, well, probably dog, yeah, not puppy, it should only be about 5 to 10% of their like daily food calories is a thing, but take that out of their food calories so they don't get overweight. And I think that's why we see a lot of overweight dogs, because they're eating their normal breakfast and dinner, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and human food on top of that.
You have to be especially careful when they're puppies, because puppies are cute and they will manipulate you into giving them more food than it's necessary, and they're constantly hungry. That doesn't really change as they get older either.
No.
But you just have to be careful not to overdo it. Like so Maple was overweight, then she was underweight, then she was overweight again. And it's just like, it's very hard as a new parent to get that balance. And it's even harder if you do feed them human food, or you make a habit out of it, because you don't actually know how much weight will your dog put on by supplementing that diet with human food. Whereas if you do feed them food from like the kibble or raw or whatever you decide to feed your dog, you will have specific guidelines, right?
Yes.
And like a specific measure of how much food you should be giving them. Whereas you don't know, you can give them like a bit of potato or a bit of something and then be like, oh, I don't know how much I just gave that dog to eat. So like getting the measures right is important.
And it's mainly used as like a treat. So you wouldn't give them like a huge potato. It's kind of like if you would give your dog a couple little treats, like their favorite treats, like beef liver or something like that, or like a salmon treat. If you want to give them the human food instead, keep it similar, keep it small.
Yeah.
Another option, it's more, don't give them the scraps. So if you're finished eating and you have stuff left over, don't just like reach down and hand it to your dog.
Oh no, because they will always wait for you.
They'll be waiting
for
you. So if you do want to give them, or say you have a little bit left over, it's always good to be used as like a food topper. But again, occasionally, because then when they go to eat their food and there isn't the topper on it, they're going to be like, nope, don't want this.
Yeah, where is my good stuff?
We have a dog that we sit sometimes that we do.
She will not eat her food without like something on top of it.
Luckily, it's dog treats, but still, it's like, I don't even know. Like, it's so silly. We have to take like the beef liver treats you can buy and kind of like grind them against each other to get the powder, to like powder on top of the food. And even still sometimes she doesn't want it unless you go like crazy, but it's not fun to do every time you make a meal when you have to like, it's shredding cheese on every meal in a sense. And it's like, well, how is that making a difference? And how is that a good behavior? And the owner's like, oh, they don't like their food. So we do this. And it's like,
yeah, but it's your fault. Like, as we were saying throughout this episode, it's always your fault for teaching your dog that this is okay. It's okay to, wait around by the table and look at you until you give in and you give them the food. And it's not good. Like, we don't ever do that. We were very strict about that. Like, never feed a dog human food. And she doesn't beg. No. She ignores us. If anything, she just wants to go outside every single time we eat.
But make sure you let other people in the household know. That's a big thing, is communicating, especially if you have kids, to make sure they don't, even if you drop something, try to pick it up right away, or this is where the leave it command helps. And now, we're not saying we don't ever give our dogs things. We give them healthy options. There's certain vegetables you can give them, like broccoli is one of them, carrots, green beans is something we give her. Same with, there's some fruits like strawberries, melons, pineapple, which a lot of people actually were surprised when I told them we give maple pineapple. These are good things that we give her as little treats, especially when they're frozen.
Do you remember that time we made her like a little sushi roll?
Oh yeah, we decided to, we made sushi we made like homemade sushi at home. So we took the rice and we, did we have the seaweed on it? I think we had to.
Yeah, we did.
But a little piece because you need it.
Yeah, because we go, like, obviously as a new parent, you will end up Googling everything and all the foods that you are allowed or not allowed to give your dog. So we Googled every single ingredient that was going into that sushi roll. And I think there was carrots and cucumber. And
I think we gave her some, because we had sweet potato, but we gave her a raw piece of sweet potato that wasn't seasoned.
Yes.
That was, we kept one off to the side so it wasn't seasoned. So, but so food is a big one. More for like, they can have adverse reactions. Definitely check. But just to have a better dog, not necessarily a puppy, it's just, try your hardest. I know it's hard. I mean, we struggle to be like, oh, can we just give her that? And no. And we're very happy we were strict with that. So in the long run.
That was a good thing.
So that kind of sums up that point. So food safety is a big one. We'll move on to the next one.
Okay, so let's move on to outdoor safety, which is our next point of how you can puppy-proof your home, which also includes your backyard, front yard, etc. So, puppies will try to escape your backyard, most likely. So you need to make sure that your area is properly fenced up, that there's locks that work, that there's no holes that they can slip through, especially if you have a really tiny dog. You need to make sure that, there's no spaces that they can slip out of. Or if they are outside, best to supervise them at all times.
Oh, definitely, especially as a puppy, you should be going outside with him the first week or not month. I think we did it for like a month. Yeah,
especially like if you have stairs that are really steep as well. Like our stairs have massive gaps in between, so that's important. And what else about outdoor safety?
Well, when you talked about holes, and I think this is just a quick one, and more depends on the type of breed you have, which we did talk about in an earlier episode, the different breed groups. If you have a dog that likes to dig, and even as a puppy, they'll dig. So just make sure you're being aware and having a look every couple of days to see if you do leave them outside on their own, which you shouldn't, but if you do, go to make sure they haven't dug any holes to get underneath the fence.
Well,
that's a big one. For that one. So, and then gardens?
Yeah, so like I didn't think about that because we don't have plants in our garden.
No, we have a tree.
We have a tree, but like nothing grows there. It's just basically for a dog.
Those berries.
Although the berries...
Be aware if you have some sort of like plants that grow things.
Dogs just really love picking things up from the ground and eating like anything. So like little rocks.
Oh, yes.
Little branches, the little... what they are, the fruit that's fallen out of the trees.
Yeah, we don't know what they are.
Just anything.
Yeah.
But like I Googled the tree once upon a time. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I did Google the type of tree that we have over there and the fruit, and apparently if they eat it, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, she's fine and she's been eating it for a year and a half. So
I mean, no, she doesn't actually eat it that much anymore, but it's probably because it's like dead stuff now. But she used to eat a lot of it.
But not even just eating. Like you think of gardens, if you have bushes, you have to be careful with the branches getting like caught, like hitting them in the eyes and scratching their eyes, or little needles of things that can come off and like attach to their skin or paws.
Yeah, you can also have like flowers that are growing in your backyard or front yard or whatever. So like the most common ones are tulips, daffodils, and daisies. Are toxic to dogs. There's like a bunch of other plants that are very toxic that I can't pronounce the name of them. But
just Google. If you have plants in your garden and a dog can access it, definitely just do a quick Google search of what plants are toxic, or the specific plant, if you know, to say are hydrangeas, I think that's what it's called, toxic to dogs. The answer is yes, because we know that one, but definitely make sure you do your research for those plants.
We might include like a little list or maybe a link to a list of toxic plants on our Facebook group. Yeah. Just so people can have a look. Just so it's something like really quick for them to look at. And also like another big thing with outdoor spaces is being very mindful over what type of chemicals you are using in your backyard. So if you plan on fertilizing your yard, or like if you're trying to get rid of some type of vermins or pests.
Like ants and
so we had a big thing with ants. Maple used to bring all the ants from the backyard into the house, and I was like picking them out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of this. So I started Googling like what is a non-toxic way of getting rid of ants. So I was literally spraying cinnamon all over the backyard.
I remember that.
And then she was smelling like cinnamon for like about a month.
Yeah.
But she was fine. She was sniffling a little bit when she came back from outside. But other than that, it's a good thing. Like if you guys have ants in your backyard, you're trying to get rid of them in a holistic, toxic, safe way. Cinnamon is definitely a good tip.
If you want to use toxic chemicals, which we did as well for the ants, block off that area. So just do kind of sections at a time, depending on what your backyard is. If it's big, you just take like the gates that we mentioned earlier and make a circle. Or we had it was only the side of the house that we had the problem. So we just took like our gates to kind of open them all up and just blocked off the whole side of the house. So it was kind of fine. But definitely, even if you put fertilizer or something down and it's not safe for dogs, just do it in sections. Every couple of days. It's not fun, but hey, you wanted a dog. Your life is going to change. So that's puppies. There you go.
One thing that I wish that we did when she was a puppy was to like teach her to only like, pee and poop in one place.
Yes.
We didn't teach her that. So now she does have her favorite places, like two of the corners that she goes in, but I wish it was just like one certain spot that I knew for sure she was going there. But
I wonder, we're going to have trainers on in the future. I wonder if any of them are going to bring that up as a idea.
Like a training tip of that, what to do. Yeah.
I guess it depends. If you have a puppy in the winter, you just probably don't care. You're just like, oh, hurry up and go. Like, let's get back inside.
Especially when it's like, minus 30 outside.
And I guess actually on that note of puppy proofing, if you do get a puppy in the winter and you live somewhere where there's a lot of snow, make sure you shovel a path for them. They love playing in the snow and all of that. But as we talked about in a previous episode about how cold it can be, you definitely have to make sure it's safe for them to be outside to use the bathroom and things like that. So that's just a cool
so don't have a massive clump of snow, just like, because they can't climb that and pee on it.
Or if there's stairs, make sure they're clear so they don't slide down them and hurt themselves.
So it's like pretty self-explanatory, but it's the type of things you don't think about until it happens, right? So.
Well, you don't expect a dog to be rummaging through your garden like the rabbits do, or raccoons, or whatever you have wherever you live, or coyotes or foxes, but those dogs will be in there chasing
things just appear in your backyard and you're like, how the hell did this like even get here?
Weeds as well. Actually that's a big one, because you don't know, they're gonna bite on a weed. You don't even know what weed that is. So
it's like, is this safe? I'm like, I have to Google it
constantly. Drop it, grabbing things out of their mouth. It's like, I mean, I don't know if kids, I can't remember if as a baby, babies probably pick up stuff and put them in their mouth as well.
I'm sure a lot of dog parents can relate, but puppies, love also like just biting on grass. They're like little rabbits.
Oh, yes,
constantly.
they will eat grass. And it's not like, so grass is not unsafe for them, obviously within moderation. If they are eating a lot of grass, they'll be sick and you'll see it. But
teach them to leave it.
Yeah. But if they eat a little bit of grass, the point you mentioned earlier, rocks, that's a huge one because, I mean, we haven't had to deal with a dentist for a dog, but apparently it is like extremely expensive.
I don't even want to know.
No, we don't want to know. But rocks is, so if you have a garden that has rocks, we have a part of our backyard that has rocks. She's okay now, but sometimes we have dogs over and they
will just not stop biting on rocks.
It's like, how do you have teeth?
I don't know.
I mean, that's training and making sure you are paying attention and aware of what your dog is doing out there.
And you have to constantly reinforce that behavior to like leave it and not allow them to constantly, bite on grass and rocks and things like that, because it can turn into a habit, right? That you just don't want continuing. And sometimes dogs don't, like, some dogs grow out of it, but some dogs don't. So if you don't reinforce that behavior that you want, which is to leave the rocks alone, then it can turn into something later on in life that you didn't expect could be a problem, which is like huge dental bills, for instance.
Or to train them afterwards, it's obviously a lot harder. Like it is, I'm not saying you can't train an adult dog, but of course it's easier to train a puppy in a new environment as well.
Yeah. But it's also other things like the foxtail grass, for instance.
Oh, yes.
That's super dangerous for dogs, right? You can literally die from it.
Well, it's not even them, from them like eating it, but the way like they're really needle like pointed. They like it gets like stuck in their skin and can puncture organs and stuff.
Yeah, like lungs and other things. Like apparently you can penetrate through skin.
Oh, so actually funny, this is a funny story about that. So just on our block, I was walking around the block with Maple. She wasn't very old, 6 months maybe. And we were walking and I saw some of that foxtail. So I finished the walk, went and grabbed the little like weed kind of thing to get out. And then I went back around and there was this older lady that was walking like the opposite direction of me. And I'm walking with this like what looks like a weapon.
I know, you look like you were going to break into someone's house.
Yeah, or like, because it's, to pull out weed, so it's like really pointed. It's kind of, like I guess you could have just used a screwdriver. And she's like looking at me and just stopped. And I was, because I had to walk, she was like right before this thing. So I had so I was like, oh, I'm just using this. I was like, this weed is really toxic to dogs. So I'm just ripping it out. But it was just so like this poor old lady thought I was like walking around with this like giant weed puller weapon thing.
It looked like a weapon, to be honest.
It was kind of funny. I do remember that.
But I just found it funny that you were like such a dog dad that you went into someone's front yard to pull out their weeds.
Well, it was like right on the edge of the sidewalk, so it wasn't quite there, but there's so many dogs that walk. I mean, we see dogs on the neighborhood all the time.
You are a good citizen.
Yeah.
You deserve a good human sticker.
I should. Yeah. Where did my neighborhood award go? Do we have that here? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Let's go to the community center and ask.
But yeah.
Can you nominate me?
But that should be like a normal thing, Like just people ripping out those like really toxic weeds.
Well, there you go. There's a thing for you. If you see something,
say something.
Say something. Or do something. Yeah, don't be like, hey, go get this. Just go back home, grab something, and pull it out. It's a weed. I'm sure they'll thank you because now they don't have to pull out the weeds themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weed. No one cares, right? If you're pulling out someone's flowers, though, that's another story.
That's true. Well, your dog shouldn't be in somebody's garden, so that's on you.
Yeah, but so I think that's it about that point.
Yeah. So I guess the last thing we want to go over. So with all of that, with all of the preparation and the blocking things and the training and the safe space, things could still happen. Mm-hmm. Obviously, humans aren't perfect. Dogs aren't perfect. There's not bound to be an accident because sometimes there isn't, but there can be an accident. So to make sure you're prepared. So this one is more of a depending on where you live. So obviously things are different in different countries, maybe different states, things like that. So definitely if you have a vet, well, you should have a vet. Talk to your veterinarian to kind of ask them, if there's an emergency, what should I do? Make sure you know where your closest emergency vet is, because although we have our normal vet, and then we take her for her vaccines and checkups. We have the
standard vet, our day-to-day thing, and we also have the emergency.
Well, the 24-hour vet that we don't like to go to, but we've unfortunately...
We've been there more than...
We have been. And it's like little things. Vet. Well, the first time was like overreaction, panic, and she was fine. But there was things...
I think most of the things that she's been to emergency vet for were like...
Well, the
overreaction.
The thing with her eye. The allergy, that's what it was.
Yeah, she
infection.
had...
the eye infection. We needed to get that one sorted out. That was probably...
But I'm sure, to be honest, like, it didn't have to be an emergency. I'm sure she would be fine.
Well, yeah, but we don't know that.
Days.
But, on that point, just to make sure, you know what to do or where to go. There's also helplines, depending on where you are. Here in Canada, there is a pet poison helpline.
Hotline.
Help.
Technically.
Well, I guess you're getting help.
Hotline is a helpline.
Yeah, same thing. We will have the phone number for Canada in the description of the YouTube video. Again, I imagine I don't know if it's the same for the US, if you're in the UK or Europe or Australia or anywhere else in the world. We have no idea what it is. So, again, do a quick Google search and have that on the fridge next to everything else that's important. Just somewhere in your fridge, just so everyone knows what it is, just in case. Luckily, we haven't had to use it, so I don't know what the experience or what they can help you with.
Is it more like... I think my dog is dying. They've had something, like, please help. Or is it more like, hey, I don't know if this potato is good for my dog?
I have no idea. I mean, I guess it's an emergency thing.
What type of vibe is it?
I don't know if it's like, if say your dog ate a whole chocolate bar, which is bad for them.
Yeah.
Would you call them and maybe they can like figure out a way to help you get the dog to vomit? But I guess if you have an emergency vet that is down the road, like the one we go to, actually when I was there with Maple, somebody was there with a dog who ate a whole chocolate bar, tiny little thing. And so they saw him right away. They gave him some stuff to make him vomit, and he was fine.
I wonder if there's like a holistic homemade way to make your dog vomit.
I don't know if I want to know that,
because
in case then you're gonna overreact and be like, oh my gosh, she ate this sliver of onion. She has to throw up. I think she'll be okay.
I think that's literally what I would do. I would like overreact majorly.
Yeah.
Like I always do. My emergency plan is panic and call you.
But I guess it's I guess that's not a bad thing. I don't know I guess everyone has a different opinion, but would it be better to be like over prepared and overreact to be safe than like think everything is fine? I know one trainer said, most of the things you think you need to go to the vet for, you don't need to. But then it's like, I think you would rather have the peace of mind knowing that
I feel
she's
like
fine.
as like a new pet parent, like you have to learn on your mistakes and you have to go through that motion of panic and going to the vet for like essentially no reason.
Well, and some of them are just accidents too. Like,
I would rather for my own peace of mind to go and be like, oh no, she's fine.
Yeah.
And pay $200 just to hear, oh no, she's fine, than like not sleep at night and worry constantly, because that's just the type of person I am.
Yeah.
I don't have the experience of owning like 10 dogs and be like, oh, this has happened with my other dogs.
Or kids that you just fall down the stairs.
And I'm like, it's fine. I've been through it before and nothing happened. It's kind of like, this is my first child. And I'm like, like something's wrong with her.
I guess it's anyone with their first dog, their first child, things like that. They overprotective.
Yeah.
I guess in a sense, obviously.
Yeah.
We're not, we don't wrap her in a bubble or anything like that. But
no, we don't do that for sure. Like she's, pretty happy, pretty free dog. But that means she does get into accidents, as in she walks into walls.
So knowing what to do, being as prepared as possible, I guess is the best thing you do. And we hope that, some of the things we've shared with you are ways you can prepare. And if you did something that we never spoke about, then let us know. You can let us know in the comments or in the Q&A thing on Spotify, because it depends on the size of your dog. I imagine if you have this like giant, Great Pyrenees or a Great Dane or bigger dogs, you probably have different precautions than we had to with. She was, I don't know how much she weighed. I don't know. She was tiny.
I mean, at the start, I think maybe like 8 pounds or something.
I know. Yeah, she was very small. And I imagine if you have a toy dog, they're even smaller. So there's precautions that we might not have taken into consideration because we just didn't have to from our personal experience. Like keeping counters clear has never been an issue with us because she can't reach that.
Small,
but we don't know. So
to wrap this up, we gave you all these ideas of how you can put certain things into place before you get a puppy in order to prepare for their arrival. But the reality is that you can never be fully prepared for what's to come. So you should just take it easy and learn as you go, I guess. That's the best lesson, right?
And don't beat yourself up if you forgot to do something or they start chewing on something they shouldn't. I mean, it will happen. Like, just learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.